Welcome back to Live With, brought to you by Species Nutrition. Visit speciesnutrition.com. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today's guest is IFBB Fitness Pro, Jenny Worth. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Dave.
You're very welcome. Jenny, I remember you back in the 90s, I think it was, or maybe late 90s, when you first hit the scene in the fitness division. You were like the young little girl on the scene. Everyone's like, who's this teenage girl competing and doing these incredible routines? Give us a little background on how you got into fitness so early.
So I started competing in fitness because I was a cheerleader. I was a gymnast growing up, and I quit cheerleading in high school. And so when I quit, I gained immediately blew up, gained 15 pounds. And because my cheerleader coach, she was a bodybuilder. And she said, I'll give some of you guys have demerits. And if you come to my aerobics class, I'll take demerits away. So you guys, I started doing her aerobics classes and I absolutely loved them. And switched up there in the gym. And he goes, hey, do you lift weights? And I said, no, I don't lift weights. I just do this aerobic classes. And he was like, I'll train you. You want me to train you? And I was like, sure. So I lifted, and I absolutely fell in love with it. And then I went to the football coach, and I said, I want to be on the weightlifting team. He goes, Jen, there's no girls in the weightlifting team. You can't do that. I said, well, I want to be on the weightlifting team. So he contacted, the head people in Florida. I was the first girl ever on the weightlifting team in Florida, and they actually have a women's weightlifting team now at the high school because of me. And then from there, I was into the weightlifting. I was doing bikini competitions in Panama City Beach on spring break, winning all these, using my sister's ID, saying I was 18, winning all these trips. So a guy that I grew up with that knew my dad, he lived behind us. He goes, Jen, I know you love gymnastics and you've already done a bikini competition with my wife. You want to do a fitness competition? I said, what is that? He goes, all you got to do basically is do one of those gymnastics routines you do and do a bane suit round. And this is back when we wore thongs, right?
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I'll do it. The first show I did, I won, and Mia Finnegan was there at the Florida doing a guest appearance. And I said, I want to be her. I can do this. I don't want to stop until I get where Mia Finnegan is. So that's how I got into competing.
And how old were you then when you started competing?
I was just out of high school, so I had just turned 18.
Yeah, I remember you were very young, when you got into it. I remember I've seen you at some of the local shows, and at that time, people don't realize there was bodybuilding and fitness. That's it. There was nothing else.
Yeah.
And people wore really creative costumes, and it was fitness was a big deal because all the girls who do figure now were doing fitness essentially, and a lot of them couldn't do routines. But you had some crazy gymnastic skills, and that was all from cheerleading.
I did. I was a gymnast up until high school, so I was a national level gymnast. Yeah.
How far did you go in gymnastics? What level?
I went to, now they changed the level, so it would be level 8.
Oh, okay. So you're pretty high.
Yeah.
You had skills.
Yeah.
Who helped you with the first routine you ever did?
The first routine I ever, Sonia, she works at all the national shows. She helped me. I drove to Orlando, Florida for her to help me with one of my routines. And she helped choreograph my routine. That's
awesome. And when you started getting to the higher levels of the NPC Team Universe, which at the time was the qualifier for pro status, who was helping you with the costumes and all that kind of stuff, to get you ready for that?
So Cynthia James helped me with my costumes. My routines, I started branching off and just kind of choreographing them on my own. But I would go to karate classes and learn karate. I would go to all the breakdancing events that were around to learn from the breakdancers. My last year in 2003, Jennifer Hendershot helped me with my routine. And then, so I kind of did everything myself and then hired Jennifer. And then this year, because I'm I have back problems now. I have degenerating disc disease. I have a bulging disc of 5 millimeters, and I have out of place vertebrae from all those high impact flips on that wood floor. So I'm limited. I can't do those flips anymore. And I'm like, okay, if I'm going to compete, the last year I competed, my routine wasn't up to par, and I knew that because I just can't do those flips. And I've been watching Oksana for quite some time now, and I said, I'm going to go hire her to help me in my routine.
Let me stop you for a minute because I don't want people to get confused. So when you were competing, when you got your pro card at Team Universe, what year was that?
1998.
Okay. And then you competed how many years as a pro?
Till 2003.
Okay. And the best you competed was what in competition?
The last competition?
Yeah. What was the best you did on stage?
I took second at the Olympia and I won the Arnold Classic.
So you were on top of the world. And people
Yeah.
don't realize this who might not remember. Then you disappeared. What happened to you? That's what people want to know.
Wow. What happened was I kind of, I guess people already know, like, there was a falling out between my coach and, some of the judges. So that kind of like messed me up.
That had to be very upsetting to you because you were the heir apparent to the Olympia throne.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was there nothing that could be done to make amends at that point? I don't know what could have possibly, that had to hurt you to step away from competition when you were at the pinnacle of your career.
I mean, I guess something could have been done, but then I just felt like, my heart wasn't in it anymore. And I just, my coach split ways and he was training other people and I just felt kind of like lost. So I kind of just stepped out.
And that was in 2003?
Yeah.
So what reignited the fires inside of Jenny Worth 15 years later to get back on stage?
Well, I've been thinking about it since 2011. My friend Jason, he was throwing a show. He goes, let's do the Jenny Worth Classic. So we did that. And he goes, you should compete again. And so I kind of, reached out to JM and I talked to him and we made peace and, then I was like, well, I don't even know. Let me see if I can even get in shape. I had a son and I gained 85 pounds. Is that skin going to even suck back down?
85 pounds?
Yeah, I hit 200 pounds at 5'1". So.
Oh my God. You must have been an Oompa Loompa.
Exactly. I was Oompa Loompa walking around. Like, really want to let you out of the chocolate factory, girl? So that kind of, had that in my mind, but I was still, you got to get your mind right first. And if your mind is not right for this sport, you
Sure.
can't do it, especially coming from being on the top of my game. People are like, just compete. I'm like, I'm not going to compete unless I know I can be my best. I'm not going to step out and step back in and just want to do something,
Mm-hmm.
So then I met my boyfriend in 2014 and I started training him and he started competing and I started prepping with him. We haven't drank alcohol in 3 years. So your mind's right when there's no alcohol in the system. There's no bad. You're not going out. You're not doing stupid things. I'm not partying. I'm just living the life of a champion again. And so he was like, Jen, you can do this. You got this in you. So my boyfriend is the one that like pushed me to actually do it. He's like, you can do this. You got your mind right.
Now,
so I've been getting ready to compete again since 2014. And finally last year I said, you know what? I was getting ready for a guest appearance at the muscle contest for John Lindsay.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, could I do it? Because I knew if I could accomplish that, because Tim Gardner always sees me at the Nationals. He always sees me in shape. Because remember, I've been trying to prep for this for like 3 years to see if I
Sure.
could do it. So eating clean and on the diet is what you need to do in order to see if is the skin going to suck back down to it. So Tim said, August the 4th, Jen, do it. And I said, it's Florida. Let me see if I can get ready for this guest appearance. I'll just take that routine I have, even though I know it's not high impact. I'll just, my boyfriend played the piano live while I did the routine, so I thought it would bring something different
cool.
to the stage too. And Tim Gardner happened to have a piano at that venue, so I'm like, this is God's way of telling me that maybe I should just do it. So that's what kicked me into doing it.
Now you mentioned alcohol. Were you a regular imbiber of alcohol for a while? Is that what you were implying?
Yeah. So what happened was I didn't drink until I was 25 years old when I was done competing, and then I got into that Miami life light life, going out, drinking on the weekends, having
Right.
fun. The weekends led to during the week, and then I got into a bad relationship with the father of my son. So that spiraled me down into more alcohol. So it was kind of like, am I an alcoholic now if I'm like drinking every day? So it led to a bad path. And then I broke both of my feet before I did that. I was trying to do one in 2012, and that spiraled me back down. And my boyfriend's the one that pulled me back out of it. He's like, "Get your head together, get your shit together. You can do this." So yeah, it's just like I went in a spiral.
How'd you break both your feet?
Well, I talked John Lindsay into let me do a guest performance in 2011 because I was trying to build my reputation out in California. I said, let me just show people what fitness is. You know, John doesn't like fitness.
No.
He goes, that's why I don't like you guys. You guys are a liability. That's why I took you out of my show. I said, no, John, we're not. I'm going to show you. So what happened was, stage was super small. I over-rotated in the rehearsal. Thank God it wasn't. And flipped into the trophy table.
Oh.
Took out the trophy table, 17 trophies in my feet.
You did, and you broke both feet?
Both of them. I broke like 4 bones on the top of one and like 2 on the top of the other one.
Wow.
So yeah, there went that, trying to convince John that we were like fitness was a good thing, you know. I was like, I'm gonna bring fitness back to the over here on this side of the coast. I'm gonna have John. That didn't go.
There'll never be another fitness show ever again there now because of that.
Yeah. So I convinced them later. Fast forward, that was 2012. Fast forward to last year, 2017. I said, John, can I do a guest performance at your show? He goes, Jen, I'm not in control of this anymore. That's Tamer. You go talk to Tamer. I said, Tamer, can I do a guest performance? I promise I'll take the flips out. So I convinced Tamer into letting me.
Oh, good. So now tell me what the new strategy is. Obviously, you have disc problems. You can't do these crazy flips anymore. But you decided you were going to employ the greatest maybe fitness Olympia person of all time, Oksana Grishina. You went and worked with her a little bit. Tell me what that was like.
So I hired her because I figured if anybody's going to help get my routine up to par without these flips, it's going to be her. So I approached her in February and I was like, I want to hire you for my routine. And she said, sure. So we got everything choreographed. She's been working with me. I've been working on it. So she's incredible. She's a sweet girl inside and out. Like that's what Miss Olympia is. She just represents herself as top notch. She's very kind, humble. She's down to earth. She like right to the point. I told her about this routine I wanted to do, and she's like, "What is this? No, you can't do that." So she got everything right, and so the routine part is going amazing. And then the body part, I approached the judges after the show, and you know, because I had that guest appearance, I was a competitor. I was just lifting here and there. So they said, you need more V-tapers. So I said, well, what I'm going to do that is I hired Milos to, well, I've been working with Milos for the body. Oh, good. And Oksana for the routine.
Tell Milos no insulin with you.
No.
No, Milos is great with training, so that's awesome that you've hooked up with him. So now when's the big show? What do you got planned for this year?
So I'm going to do the Miami Pro on June the 2nd.
Oh,
I'm going
good.
back to my homeland. So.
Yeah, that's right, right in my backyard now too. I'm a Florida guy now too. You know, if you didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Jenny, I think a lot of people are excited to see you back on stage. Last year was kind of like a little teaser, but I know this year you're going to be even better. Obviously, the goal is to get back to that Olympia. Now, when you see the current state of fitness and the people who are winning the Olympia now that Oksana's gone, do you feel you have a legitimate shot to win that title?
I feel like if I put everything into it, I do. I feel like I just took the girl that took second, I took third next to her. Her routines are incredible, but you know, it's a performance. So if you don't have the gymnastics, if you can perform and have the people involved, and I feel like my body's, it's right there too. Yep. You know, I have muscle maturity now, and my routine work.
Well, I think.
What are you going to bring back there? How are you going? how are you going to better yourself? So I feel like I'm going to come back like, bam, wow, she bettered herself.
Well,
So,
you know what? It would be one of the great comeback stories in our sport if you, after, you know, leaving the sport at the peak of your powers, right before you were about to win the Olympia, an Arnold champion, now coming back 15 years later and maybe picking up where you left off, so to speak. I think it's a great comeback story, and everyone loves a great comeback, let's face it. And I think there's going to be a lot of people out there rooting for you to win that Olympia.
well, I'm going to give it everything I have, Dave.
What if now I know you're doing training with people out there in California. How can people get in touch with you if they want to hire you?
So if people want to hire me, I'm pretty booked, but I have some open slots. I train people in Glendale. I have a gym in Glendale. And then I train people in Long Beach in the afternoon. So they can contact me through Instagram or Facebook. I do have a website. It's worthitfitness.com.
Okay.
But we know social media is the best way to get a hold of people now.
Yeah,
and
Jenny,
they can go onto my page and see all the transformations.
You're always on Instagram too. I see you all the time. Even when I do my occasional Instagram live, I see you pop in there, and so you're pretty readily available for people.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing. Can you imagine if they had social media back when you were competing in the late '90s? Think about how popular you would have been.
We didn't even have cell phones, you know.
I know.
We just got the flip phones back then.
That's right. But yeah, you would have been. But think about the following you would have by now.
I know.
It's
crazy how like time changes and now you have access to all this.
I always say to myself, can you imagine if I had a cell phone when I was like 320 pounds and I was taking pictures? People would have gone nuts back then, you know? I have no pictures of myself.
I don't have pictures from back in the day.
No, I have no pictures either, only from the shows, you know? But, well, it was great talking to you, Jenny. Good luck in the Miami show, and, you know, we'll be rooting for you, of course, and I hope you come out with that victory in Olympia qualification.
Thank you so much, Dave, and thank you so much again for having me.
Absolutely. Great story from a great woman. Jenny Worth, check her out. She's on Instagram Live, and I think you'll get some great feedback from her, and I'm looking forward to seeing her up on that stage again with the Oksana Grishina choreographed routine. For now, though, we're out of time. I'm Dave Palumbo with another edition of Live With.